J.A. is part of Occupy Wall Street, or the movement to Occupy Wall Street. J.A., hey, wait, and a contributor to Alternet as well. Hey, J.A., how you doing?
I'm very well. How are you, Tom?
Fine, fine. It seems to me that one of the most important dimensions of what's going on with Occupy Wall Street is a revisitation of something that you're too young to remember, I'm not, that during the Vietnam era, there was incredible community around people who were trying to resist the war, whether it was avoid the draft or whether it was being out in the streets and demonstrating or whether it was, SDS. Community formed. It was extraordinary. And it seems to me from, sitting here, I don't know how many miles away I am in D.C. from New York, but it seems like the same thing is going on there in New York from what I'm reading of your reporting.
Yeah, it sure is. And I'd point out that a lot of the genesis of that sort of communal feeling that goes on at Wall Street is rooted in another thing that happened a lot in the late 60s with groups that worked with SDS, including the Black Panthers, which is liberating space from imperial control, just claiming it as people space in the belly of the beast. And the Panthers did that, and it gives a group the impetus to social solidarity and to camaraderie when it cares for a space together, and that's another thing. That's a thing that we're taking from the 60s that's sort of generating what you're talking about.
Yeah, I remember a long occupation of one of the commons areas at MSU in '68. A very, very similar thing. How does that, for people who are watching or listening and don't really know what we're talking about, how does that play out? Tell a story. Give me an example.
Well, it's sort of a strange two-headed monster, the occupation of Wall Street, because on the one hand, it's a political statement, right, and a protest. And on the other hand, it's a community unto itself. So every day at 2 and 7 there's a General Assembly, and a person, so the NYPD prohibits us from using electronic forms of amplification. So there's a thing called the People's Mic. And what folks will do at the General Assembly, somebody will stand up speaking, and they'll speak in a short phrase like brothers and sisters, and then everyone within earshot repeats it. And so in that way, the group amplifies the speaker. And people will meet and deliberate for hours and hours over anything. Any expenditure over $100 has to be run by the General Assembly, and everything has to happen by consensus. So last night at the 7 p.m. General Assembly, I estimate that there were 500 people there who sat there for 2.5 hours of small democratic minutiae, working out issues, and it's the most exhilarating feeling you can't imagine. It was over at 9:30, and then people headed over to a talent show to spend the next hour and a half until self-imposed quiet hours began at 11 that the General Assembly also decided on by consensus. So this is the kind of thing that happens with a group of several hundred people every day.
Wow. Where did the phrase General Assembly come from?
I'm not sure that the General Assembly, the NYC-GA, is a group that's been meeting and is sort of a group that helped plan this thing. But I know that in May of '68... You
said of the NYPGA? What's that?
CGA, the New York City General Assembly. The website is nycga.net. They have a lot of stuff about Occupy Wall Street if you want to visit there.
And
I know that
who are they? What are they? Where did they come from?
It's just it's not an organization. It's just the group of activists in New York that sort of sparked the idea for this this Wall Street protest.
Interesting. Okay.
But General Assembly is the name that in French that the Parisian students used in May of '68 when they took over Paris. Right. They had General Assemblies in the Sorbonne that they were occupying and renaming parts of the city. They renamed the Latin Quarter the Heroic Vietnam Quarter until de Gaulle's tanks came in and busted the thing up. But what that was called there was the General Assemblies.
Right.
So it's obviously a phrase that's been around in liberation politics for a good long time. Sure.
Are you familiar with the history of the French Revolution?
To an extent, I guess.
Yeah. There be some dangers there. That's very interesting. So that's how this community is coming about, and I'm assuming up till this point there have been no demands other than we are here. Does that stand?
In a sense, I mean, it's clear that what connects this group is an objection to the extent to which enormous wealth has an influence over American democratic politics. But it hasn't got a manifesto. It hasn't got a 5-point, bullet point, document to present. And I would point out, neither did the May 68 kids in France. And a 5-point, bullet point document wouldn't have stopped de Gaulle's tanks. So it hasn't got demands, but it's clear that there are some unifying forces. And it's also worth noting that this being a direct democracy where there are labor outreach committees and arts and culture committees and free food for everyone, free childcare. I saw a woman set up a free manicure place. There's a free library, free medical assistance, free legal assistance. It's all there and it's all for free. And anyone who can't look at that and deduce a demand on society and on other people to organize similar groups is missing the point entirely. Yeah.
So it's like this. I wonder what parallels there might be between this and the early American Revolution. That's remarkable. Jay, thanks for coming on and sharing with it. And the groups, very quickly, growing, static?
Oh, growing considerably.
Great.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
Finish your sentence real quick.
It was the biggest we've seen last night.
That's great. J.A. Myerson. JAMyerson.com, the website. We'll be back.